Today we're learning how to draw cylinders. The first thing you will need to do is draw two parallel lines that are vertical. The next thing that I am doing is I'm drawing my bottom and my top, which are also parallel, and they curve downwards. Now we need to close the back of the top of our cylinder, and we do this by drawing another curve that goes in the opposite direction to make it look like it's going back into space. Before we start applying our oil pastels, let's talk about how we're going to apply our values. If our light source is coming from the top left, you're going to have lighter values on the left side and darker values towards the right, and they gradually change from light to dark. Your cast shadow is also going to come down towards the front, but if you're doing a light source that is more towards the left side and not really towards like the top back of it, then it'll be more towards the side. If you're doing a light source that's coming more from the front, here is another example of how a cast shadow would look if you're going towards the back. Now let's start applying our oil pastels. So my light source, again, is coming from the top left. I want both of the edges of my cast shadow to be parallel, and then the back to close it is parallel to the bottom. I'm starting with my oil pastel that is yellow, and I'm applying a lighter coat to the left side. And then as I get towards the middle, I'm doing a harder pressure to cover my area. Notice how I'm applying pressure, how it follows the curve of the bottom and top of my shape, but it still goes up and down. Okay, so we still follow that curve, but it still goes up and down. The very top of my cylinder is darker towards the back, but then gets lighter towards the top. Now we can go in and blend with our white. Make sure your white is cleaned off. And you're going to do more white to the left side and the front to show contrast, and then more yellow towards the right side and back. Okay? I also went in with an eraser just to lighten some of my lines. Remember, draw light until it's right. I did draw my lines a little too dark, so they do not have to be that dark. I'm just going in and fixing up some areas. And then again, I'm going to use my white to blend my sides. Specifically my left side, not the right side, because the right side we will be using purple for. And now I'm just going back in with yellow, smoothing some things out. Here you can see I start off by applying a lighter pressure purple, and I go to about halfway in, not farther than halfway. You apply more pressure towards the right side and less pressure as you work your way to the left. Again, if you keep going over the same area like I am, you're going to have some struggles where you start taking off some of that oil pastel. So remember not to over blend. You could keep going over it and reworking it until it looks nice, but again, look at how I'm trying not to over blend. I'm being very delicate, going over it just a couple times. And see how like over there I went over it too much, so now I need to go back in and do some touch-ups. I also am using a Q-tip to smooth some areas out, and I need to add some more purple, but as you see I over blended just a little bit. Oh, and look, I'm starting to over blend there as well, so you want to be really careful. Yep, Q-tip did not work there, so again I am going back over with the purple to try to smooth some of that out and trying to use more of a delicate touch to get that blended in so it looks nice and smooth. After you get most of this smoothed out, then we're going to start our cast shadow. Our cast shadow is going to be primarily purple, but then we're going to put some yellow over it to blend it together. So here you can see I'm applying my purple, and then I'll go back over and apply my yellow to smooth it out and mix it together. After I go over my cast shadow, Then I am going to be going back into my cylinder and then just touching up some areas that needed to be smoothened out, as well as just cleaned up, because again, I want to show that full range of values, that gradual change from light to dark. So make sure that you're showing it's going from light yellow to like a brownish color, because when purple and yellow mix together, it kind of makes like this dirtier color, darker value. So again, I am pulling in some more purple and yellow, blending things in to make it smoother, bringing a little bit more purple towards the middle and more yellow towards the bottom to show my reflective light. Again, when I added my purple, I did really, really light pressure, and I'm going back in with my yellow again to push it back into space so it's not as vibrant. And there you have it. This is how we shade cylinders using yellow and purple oil pastels. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions.